This is Mr. Snyder with Truman Middle School, and this lesson is on how to find the surface area of pyramids and cones. In order to find the surface area of pyramids and cones, it's helpful to know the definition of slant height and also to be able to identify the shapes that we'll be dealing with, which are a regular pyramid and a right cone. If you notice on the shape, the slant height is kind of the diagonal almost distance from the bottom edge to the peak of the shape. And the slant height of a pyramid or cone is measured along its lateral surface. So the lateral surface is just the surface of the sides or faces of the cone or pyramid. The base of a regular pyramid is a regular polygon. So regular, if you remember, means that each side is congruent. And that causes the lateral faces to also be congruent. In a right cone, there's a line that's perpendicular to the base that goes up through the tip of the cone and it passes through the center of the base. So the formulas for finding the surface area of a pyramid and cone are as follows. For a pyramid, the formula is surface area equals big B, which is the area of the base, plus F. And F represents the lateral area. And this is found by taking 1/2 of the perimeter of the base times the slant height. So that's why you have the second formula there. So really the more useful formula is S equals big B plus 1/2 the perimeter of the base times the slant height. So you really need to find the area of the base and also the perimeter of the base. And if you know the slant height, you have everything you know to apply this formula. So in the example, they show a square pyramid, and of course to find the area you would take the side times side or length times width, which is 12 times 12, and you'll add that to the 1/2 of the perimeter. So if I find the perimeter, it's going to be 12 plus 12 plus 12 is 12, which is 48, and then the slant height is 8. So putting those numbers in, I would get 336 units squared. For a cone, there's a similar formula. Surface area equals big B plus L. And again, L pretty much represents the lateral area. But a more convenient formula, since big B really means area of the base, and the base is a circle, we use pi r squared, which is the formula for area of a circle, and we add that to pi r L, and recall that L is the slant height. So plugging in our radius and our slant height into that formula, since the radius is 3, we square that, multiply it times pi, and we'll be adding that to pi times the radius times the slant height, which is 4. And we get approximately 65.94 units squared. So that's kind of an introduction to what we need to do. Let's do a couple of examples to kind of get some practice with this new formula. So our first shape is a square pyramid. And if you recall, the formula is surface area equals big B, which is the area of the base, plus 1/2 P, which is the perimeter of the base, times L, which is the slant height. So plugging in those numbers, big B area of the base would be length times width, which is 2.4 times 2.4. We'll add that to 1/2, and then we need to find the perimeter, which is going to be obviously 2.4 plus 2.4 plus 2.4 plus 2.4, which is 9.6. That's how I got the 9.6. And then the slant height, the distance from the top along the side to, the distance from the bottom to the top would be 3 feet. So multiply 2.4 times 2.4, write that number down, put a plus sign, and then do the other chunk. That's the best way to do that rather than trying to do it all at once in the calculator. And after you add those two numbers together, you should get a total of 20.16 feet squared. So that would be the surface area of the square pyramid. So let's take a look at the cone. If you recall, the formula for surface area of the cone is S equals pi r squared plus pi times r L, and L being the slant height. So plugging in each of those numbers, recall 3.14 obviously would be used for pi. The radius in this case is 3, so we'll square that. We'll add that to pi times the radius, which is 3, times the slant height, which is 6. So this is what it will look like before we multiply everything out. Obviously, we need to apply the rules of PEMDAS, so we look for parentheses, and in this case the parentheses really mean multiplication, so those don't count as parentheses. So we go to exponents and work out the exponent, multiply it times pi, write that answer down, and then add it to the other chunk, which is going to be pi times 3 times 6. So do one chunk at a time, add them together, you'll end up with 84.8 centimeters squared. So that's how you would do the surface area of pyramids and cones. It's very useful to write the formula down as always and kind of just itemize your chunks of information. You might do big B separately to find the perimeter of the base for the pyramids, and then do big P, which is the perimeter of the base, separately. That kind of helps to kind of organize your information and then plug it in to solve. Anyway, that's how to find surface area of pyramids and cones. If you have any questions, simply email myself or Mr. Chrisman. We'll be happy to reply and help you.